Greetings, good evening. Yes, today is 21 on the 7th month and the year is 2024. Enough respect to everybody who's watching us live right now. My name is Dr. Clarence, broadcasting live and direct from Zimbabwe, Africa. Now, what is happening here? We see Jacob Mudenda, like a boss, showing off a bodyguard, armed in dark shades. Remember this moment here. They're kneeling, obviously on the floor, but we can't see the floor. Ziambi, Minister of Justice, Legal and Parliamentary Affairs. This day, Jacob Mudenda, the Speaker of Parliament, had kicked out Ziambi out of Parliament. But anyways, we see Ziambi there on his knees, trying to get the understanding what is happening. Here was Jacob Mudenda trying to look like a boss. Or maybe it was a message not hidden, but maybe only understood by that one, the one who's supposed to understand it. Now we're seeing Jacob Mudenda. This is yesterday. Saturday. Today is Sunday, not Saturday. This is yesterday. At the Parliament. What was happening there at Parliament on a Saturday? I don't know, but I'm sure these guys work on a Saturday. Obviously, I'm sure they work on a Saturday. The last time we see Mudenda appearing like that was in November 2017, when they were impeaching Mugabe, and Mugabe had to maintain his personal dignity and his honor unto himself. Then he resigned instead of being impeached. Now we're seeing this look here. Maybe Mudenda go. Big up to Stanford, Makwengwere, everybody who's watching us live. Those watching us live, write your comments in the chat, in the super chat, that I can see your name, so I can give him a shout out. Maybe I don't go Garagadaru, but this is the first time I'm seeing him like that. Okay, that's why I'm talking about this. So how powerful is the Speaker of Parliament versus of Minister of Justice? A big up clear pass Chiangwa. Enough respect everybody. Microphone yangu yazima komana. Ndanganda zimirwa ni microphone. Yay. So dana in Parliament, the Speaker of Parliament azima microphone. I don't know to answer this microphone so good zima so dum on msanya nita na rostelek. Mupali. So microphone so United Nations, those ones where we'll be using panozo tama translator kana paina Putin ashitaura shi rush in etc, and those things like that. Enough respect, everybody who's watching. Anyways, we're back in the center. All right. The last time I saw this look on Jacob Mudenda was for impeachment. RG Mugabe, where we see Mugabe then resigning. Then we see Jacob Mudenda then announcing the resignation. Now, when the president ceases to exist, the Parliament takes over through the Speaker of Parliament. But anyways, my pillars of state, pillars of government, there is the legislative, the executive, and the judicial, and the Parliament is the legislative, right? So those guys have power, one-third of the power in the state. 9 October 2017, Patrick Chinamasa gets demoted. Minister of WhatsApp. He gets demoted from being the Minister of Finance. Before becoming the Minister of Finance, Chinamasa had been Speaker of Parliament. ED has been Minister of Finance. ED has been Minister, Speaker of Parliament. ED has been Minister of Defense, Minister of many things. Right. I just mumbled it there to skip the sequence in that I've reviewed. There's a sequence, but I didn't recall it in the exact order. Okay. So we see Chinamasa, 9 October 2017, gets demoted. 1 month later, November 2017, Robert Gabriel Mugabe gets gobbled from power. Did this have anything to do with Patrick Chinamasa? Those were the days Patrick Chinamasa was working in cohorts with John Pananetsa Mangunjga. Anyways, RBZ governor and minister of finance, who is more powerful? Between Speaker of Parliament and Minister of Justice, the Speaker of Parliament is more powerful. In that he is Speaker of Parliament, and let's say they were almost equal. He is elected by the Parliament, and the Minister is elected by the Executive. So we may say they have more power. They have the same level of power. But it's not that the case, because Parliament is independent. One from the Executive cannot oversee the Parliament. Now, RBZ Governor and Minister of Finance, Chinamasa and Mangunja. The Minister of Finance has more power. But if the governor can maneuver, I'm not speaking on things by the book here. I'm speaking in terms of power. Okay? In terms of power, in terms of the reality of reality. If they can maneuver, they may have more power. Now we saw John Panonetsa Mangujga now being replaced by George Goamatanga, who was once in the FBC, and also one of the people in Zimbabwe who at the time had a big chunk in the Zimbabwe Stock Exchange. I'm not sure, I can't recall the company by head. He's now the new governor. And we have Mthuli Ncube, the Minister of Finance. Anyway, back to the Speaker of Parliament. When the Speaker of Parliament is a Speaker of Parliament, how much power do they consolidate? If any. During the year 2017, was Jacob Mudenda a factor? Yes, he was a factor. Was it only in his capacity as a Speaker of Parliament? Him only, let's say it's only in his capacity as a Speaker of Parliament. Him being a factor, doesn't that give him some power or some effect? Just because he took part in the deposition of Robert Gabriel Mugabe, in that he may be a shareholder in a pre-coup agreement, in the memorandum of agreement, if such exists. If such exists. Big up to Dina Sizila. Rijangwena says Minister, Speaker of Parliament is powerful, is the same power as the President. Yes, that is very true by the book, straight up. Is very powerful as the President. So the power here may be reduced in the issue here, political party. Anyways, it's a very, very, very interesting subject, because we have never realized how much powerful the Prime Minister, the Speaker of Parliament, not Prime Minister, Speaker of Parliament, it's a deliberate error there. I just wanted to put in the word Prime Minister there. Speaker of Parliament. It is what it is, but we've never seen it in Zimbabwe where these guys exercise their powers or we don't notice it, right? Big up to Tafadzwa. Jiranyama says, Chiremba Muri say, watching you live from Canada. They are in Canada. How is Canada there? Yo, Canada. Kuna first one is Jordan Peterson. I haven't met him, but I watch him on YouTube. Big up to Dina Sizila. Enough respect. Cleopas Chiangwa, Stanford Makwengwere. Everybody who's watching us live. To those who are watching us live, you can write comments in the super chat or in the top chat that I can see your names. Now, in today's Standard newspaper, what do we have? We have something I'm going to talk about in depth in another video. But we have Christopher Mutsvangwa, Speaker and owner, Vice President Chiwenga. And it's headlined, Chiwenga, not the anointed successor, says Mutsvangwa. Okay? So this is the headline. Usually the guys in the press, they write the headline, then they would quote in the article. All right? So just the intro to this one says, Vice President Constantino Chiwenga will not automatically be elected to succeed President Emmerson Mnangagwa in 2028 as ZANU PF has to choose its next leader through a democratic process. The ruling party spokesperson Chris Mutsvangwa said it was not true that Mnangagwa gave Chiwenga an assurance after the 2017 coup that he would hand him. Okay? That is the standard. Anyways, it's not legal to tell people that we are sure that you are going to succeed me. So they will never admit. Let's say that's the case. Whether it's the case or not the case. This is a non-issue and an issue at the same time. What we should know is these words can mean something. But when asked, if asked, they can mean nothing because that is the response you always be given by those guys. Because the moment that response is given, we will see Tabani Mpofu writing a letter like he did the ZANU PF chatonga kushikira madongi amiranyanga. This is unconstitutional. This is unconstitutional. We can't have Valerio Sibanda joining the ZANU PF. Musoja, actually Musoja. So that is what would happen. But anyways, Christopher Mutsvangwa, 2017, he was very instrumental in so-called sanitizing the so-called coup that we all know was a coup. Why? He had been an ambassador in influential places. So then links, they say he's connected to my Britain, they respect him. Don't matter what connection and my linky, he's steel plant, all those things. But anyways, enough respect to Mutsvangwa. He has brought in many investors in Zimbabwe. He has played a very big part, right? As much as he speaks, he's a loud mouth like me and Energy Mtodi. He has done a lot, that Mutsvangwa guy. Anyways, we see him here. Coincidence. Coincidence means nothing. Coincidence simply means I'm breathing while I'm talking. It doesn't mean I'm not breathing. It doesn't mean I'm not talking. Right? That is coincidence. Obviously, coincidence happen, but there's sequence of events. When we are seeing almost similar sequences of events, we saw now John Mangujga being kicked out of office. Of course, we had our financial problems before Mtuli Ngube. came in, the common factor in the finance we had was John Panonetsa Mangunjika. But anyways, they were supposed to go all together at the same time. Then we have Mtuli Ngube. Mtuli Ngube. Okay. But we saw him joining ZANU PF right about now. He's now the Minister of Finance. We're seeing a lot happening in the finance sector. If Mtuli Ngube is an entity on his own, I would say he hasn't consolidated power enough unless he has allegiance with other men of influence. That may be a case. So all we're seeing here, we are seeing all the political players being active. Or are they being active? Or I'm just looking now, because these guys, remember, they are employed. The president is the president. The vice president is the vice president. The speaker of parliament is the speaker of parliament. So I would have made all those considerations before making a video like this. That's not the case. Big up to Tatenda Marufu. Enough respect. Rijangwenya, enough respect. Says, remember, ZANU PF have never had an elective conference in a proper political, but in a proper political company. The vice should be next in line. The problem is that we don't have politics in Zim. I don't know about the vice president being in line or any legislation on that, but it just sounds like that. It sounds acceptable. It sounds normal. Of course, when a president ceases to exist, the vice president should eventually take over. So it depends on circumstances. That is before his term ends. But after his term ends, who becomes the president has to be elected first by Zimbabweans, no matter which party. So Zimbabweans, we know this guy is ZANU PF. They are going to be here for some time. Okay. So obviously the next president is going to come from ZANU PF. Unless God is in it, his time has arrived. Okay? I'm not talking of Nelson Chamisa, I'm talking of God. Decides to change the leader. And anyways, the voice of the people is the voice of God, because all those factors, they contribute. God works through people, through incidences. Even when he sent Jesus, we would see people like Judas there at play, and then Jesus fakes his death on the cross because he never died. Maybe sleeping for 3 days, maybe. Yeah. So that automatic takeover is really, really tricky. With what's happening in Zimbabwe, is it chaos, or there needs to be chaos for there to be a term extension? That is the main question. Would there need to be chaos? There's a law that was amended 10 years ago. I'm not going to review what it is, but it comes to play at this moment here, because I have to be careful. All right, people watch this video, and I don't want people to watch this video and get ideas on how I can maneuver and giving ideas to people who didn't even have the ideas of doing something, because we all love power. Okay, these guys are doing corruption in Zimbabwe. Ukapuwa wewe mkana. Unenge wakapuwa James Chimombe. I mean that Chimombe guy and that guy Mike the Milk and the guy Moses Mpofu, who are now in the wilderness for the prison. Ukapuwa mkana. Wekwisa maoko ako pakaboka pane maburi. Ungataze were kugama kubuda makaboka. Right? So what we should be doing, Zimbabweans, kuvara maburi. Kuvara anachivaro anenga chungono toroshi. Shirikulika ni maburi. Right? So we may be angry at those guys, but anybody who do the same in the same position, that is same with anybody in any power. Nobody wants to give up power. including you. So we can only fight for the rule of law and the effectiveness of law. Enough respect. Watching from the Scottish borders is Jules M. How are you? It's been a long time since I last saw your name there. It's great to see a familiar name. Anyways, that was it for now. Something is happening. We see Jacob Mudenda there in this look. So we make videos like this such that when the time comes for us to make the connections, we go back and make the connections. Why would we be making the connections? Such that when we be making videos that will be predicting probabilities, what may happen, we may have done it before. With that, I sign out. Dr. Clarence, TV7 Live, as always, thank you for watching.